Hello, and welcome to Connecting You to You Radio, where we tune in to receive the messages of health and well being that are being broadcast from the soul. I'm your host, Lisa Warner, author of The Simplicity of Self Healing. I show you how to heal your body naturally by combining your body's innate intelligence with the wisdom of your own soul so that you can break through the mental programming of limiting beliefs that cause disease and make healing your body and changing your life simple. Hello and welcome to another Conversations in Consciousness with Lisa and Keith. I'm Lisa Warner, author of The Simplicity of Self Healing.
Keith Leonis, filmmaker, best-selling author, and book publisher. So happy you are here with us today for another Conversations in Consciousness. Today we're talking about changing the energy of money, and we were just talking about a subject that neither one of us even needs to put a note on a paper about. We could talk about this all day long, and so that's what we're gonna do. Only we're gonna hone it into an hour instead.
Yeah.
Kick us off. Kick us
Oh
off,
my
Lisa.
goodness. Money, 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 money. The bane of our existence for many of us. Right? It is such a controversial topic in many ways because money is really part of the control structure. It is how humanity has been disconnected from nature. It is our true nature that this planet is the Garden of Eden that literally gives us everything we need to thrive and survive for free. But
Huh.
now, here we are working for a living, trying to earn money so that we can buy some food and create some shelter. And turns out food comes right up out of the ground for free.
Wait,
So,
what? It
right? Oh
does?
my God, believe it or not.
Huh.
Pretty insane. So, a lot of us have had some pretty intense money stories. If you're anything like me, you have had a very intense money story. So today we're going to talk
Mm,
about how we can take the intensity out of it and turn the money story around so that instead of us working for money, we can get money to work for us. What a
mm.
concept.
Huh. Yeah. Well, everything we do is an agreement or a contract. We're making those between each other all the time. Hey, I'm gonna come over at 10 a.m. tomorrow to do this call. How does that sound? Great. We just made an agreement, right? Made a contract, made a promise, and really, ultimately, money is a promissory note. They even call it that, a promissory note. And so, in truth, it's a piece of paper, and somebody made a promise at some point that it was worth this much, and everybody's agreeing on that amount over a piece of paper. So literally everybody's agreeing that's $100. What does that really mean? $100 if you turn it into energy exchange, right? So before there was paper, what did people do? They made agreements. They helped each other. They grew food, like you said. They uh, made agreements. Hey, will you come work with me on my farm to plant all of that? And for that, you can have food. Oh, sure. I would do that. But we didn't have to give a piece of paper to each other in order to make that happen. Right? We made a promissory note. So it's just a form of energy that has been turned into something else to potentially control all of us and make us feel bad if we don't have enough paper or coins. It's just a really, really weird thing that never really made a lot of sense to me. That's one of those things you always talk about when you're two and all of those things were coming to you. That was one of the things that never really made sense to me from as long as I can remember. I was just like, this is the weirdest thing. Like, should we just give each other things? Right? Shouldn't we just like give each other what we need? If we all did that, uh, this world would just be a perfect place. It was a thought I had at a young age, and was the weird one because everyone else was, you know, talking about playing tag and playing with their Barbies and GI Joes. I was thinking about the things about this world and how to make it a better place. So, and we're still doing that. And in some circles, we're still weirdos. But I'd so much rather be a weirdo because I feel like whew, if I continued to buy into that story and I didn't change the story and the way that I think about money, I know I would have probably had, blood pressure, high blood pressure, heart attack, all those things that people create by being completely stressed out about a piece of paper.
That was my story.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
so long ago.
It never, yeah, for same thing for me. It never made any sense to me why we were having to do this. Like, I just remember for years struggling with money, and I'd lay in bed at night and think, there is not a single angel in all of the heavens that's punching a time clock. Like, like, why are we doing it here? Like, it just never added up for me. It was,
Uh-huh.
and it was, and it was so stressful because there wasn't really like, I didn't really see an answer to it. Like, how do we stop doing this? Like, how do I not participate in this craziness and still survive on the planet? Because it appears that we have to have money in order to survive on the planet these days. Because, if you don't have if you don't have your own home and your own land and you're growing your own food and you're truly self sufficient, you're dependent on the system. And anything having to do with the system, whether it's the food system or the medical system or any system, you have to have money because the money is what makes the system go around. And it's all of us that get trapped in the systems. And I was like, I just couldn't see my way out of the system. And it was so completely just soul draining, life depleting that eventually I ended up facing cancer because, like, I had just all my living life force energy had just been completely drained on this, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this money thing. It was, it was terrible.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I know it took me a long time to truly get out of all the fear about money and it took a lot. I mean, I got to blessed in that with the Who Do You Think You Are book project. I got to be mentored and questioned by millionaires, and a billionaire. So like Dr. John DeMartini and Proctor and Jack Canfield, these were the people that had a lot of that stuff called money. And but that's the funny thing is they were the ones that were teaching me you could take all of it, just take it all from me today, and in a year I'll have it all back because they knew. and they were in the vibration of attracting that energy, which is money, to them, so that they could do good in the world, so that they could do all these projects they wanted to do and teach at all the events and all of that. Like you said, takes money to book the place, right? To buy out the whole hotel for your event, and have that space, and do all of those things, write the books, and make the audiobooks, and do the videos, all of that, so that they could be difference makers on the planet. Uh, but I think one of the more, so all of them taught me, right? And then one of the more profound lessons, it was actually Mara, it's my wife Mara, who she said, what would you need to feel rich? Because rich is a feeling. I don't think it's necessarily about money. What would you need to feel rich? And I was like, oh, if I was rich, I'd have enough time to spend with my son, Timur. I would go I would go down to the beach and put my feet in the sand. I would have time to like go to the park and just feel young again and spin around in circles and lay on the grass and look up at the sky. And if I was rich, I would have 7 green towels. That's it's like 7 green towels. Why? I said if I never had to drag across my face a towel that I wiped my booty with the day before, I would feel like a rich man. And so Mara was like, okay, get out your calendar. Okay, now book some time to be with Timar. Put it in the calendar. All right, now book a day to go to the beach and put your toes in the sand. Okay, book another one. Even if it's a month out, do it. Put those in the calendar. Okay, great. Now book a day to go to the park. All right, book another one. Even if it's 2 months out, doesn't matter. Book it. Put it in there. Okay, great. And then this Saturday, go to department store, buy 7 green towels because that's something we can do. Not a thing. And had me just put all the things that would make me feel like I was rich to the calendar. And then I started doing those things. I started being with my son. I went to the beach and put my toes in the sand. I had 7 green towels. I like everything that I thought I needed money a lot of to do. None of it had to do anything with money. It was about the energy of time, right? It was about the energy of seeing my value and worth enough to buy 7 green towels. Like I spend it on something useless or something that would make me feel rich. And next thing you know, I started to really feel rich, like because those were the things I thought that like, I would have to be rich to do. And and then I started attracting more clients and started getting more gigs because I was not feeling like I needed those things to be rich. And I remember I was on an interview. I had Mara and I were interviewing for some project that we were doing, and we had one of the teachers from The Secret on, and I told that story, and he was like, "Oh my God, that's so good." Mara, can I share that? It was Bob Doyle. Mara, can I share that? And she was like, sure, sure, as long as you give me credit. He was like, I will. And so I thought it was so cool. All these, master teachers from this movie that had taken over the world, and there was a tool that she thought of and created that even made him go, whoa, that's so cool, because it was about shifting that energy, right? That energy. What would I have or feel? What would I be doing if I was rich? And come to find out, to feel rich for me didn't have anything to do with money at all. It was all about energy. And that's what we're talking about, changing the energy of money.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, and one of the things that I realized was that you know we are all souls here on this planet with unique gifts and talents. And when we contribute our gifts and talents, we automatically receive in return because that's how energy works. You know, it doesn't go just one way. So the more we start to just contribute our gifts and talents, we get contributed back to in return. And it's I had to shift my I had to shift my perspective around having a job. 'Cause I remember growing up, I looked around. I lived in a small town, and I looked around, and I saw my grandfather who went to work every single day, Monday through Friday, went to the same office, did the same thing. It was like an accounting type job, and my he was perfectly happy, but like he did the same thing every day, Monday through Friday, every week, all year long. Never took vacations, maybe once in a while. Like I only remember one vacation in particular. Um, like literally the whole time, only one. And I just thought, I can't do this. Like, I was a little girl and I was like,
Yeah.
this is what life is about?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do this. And I just had this really terrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. Like, can't do this. I don't know what to do because, that you go to school and they say, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And, everybody was like, well, I'm going to be a lawyer and I'm going to be a veterinarian. And I'm like, you're 8. Like, what you're going to be when you grow. Like, good grief. Like, you've already decided this?
give
Like,
give me a minute.
I couldn't figure, I'm like, don't know. And I looked out in the world and was like, I didn't see any job that really spoke to my soul. I was like, I just want to be me. I just want to do something I really love, and I didn't see that in any job out there. And it was really just so destroying to my soul. I had many different jobs, and I did well at at most of them. I did really well, and I found a way to to make the best of it or enjoy myself, but
Yeah.
it wasn't speaking to my soul, and I was only doing it for the money.
Yeah.
And it just doing anything just for the money, it's never a good reason to do something. At least in my experience, it was
Yeah.
not what needed to happen. But then, you know, once I I guess it all worked out great because, I was so stressed over it and so depressed over it that I ended up just my health went right down the tubes, and I ended up facing cancer. And that was the overcoming that was like, oh my gosh, it's all an illusion. I it's not the way it looks to be. And by overcoming that, letting my body heal itself naturally as it is divinely designed to do, I was like, oh, I can help some other people now. And consciousness, that was the only thing I was ever truly interested in. It's like, oh, I used my consciousness to heal me. Oh, if I can do that, others can do that. Now I can share my gifts and talents. And then everything shifted. Then it was like, I need to share this with the world, whether I get paid or not, because like this is what really speaks to my soul.
Yeah. Yeah. I had the same story. My grandmother ultimately was the one who raised me and my sister. But my grandmother, she worked at a thing called Cole's Market, and she was the manager of the store. So she definitely modeled the if you work hard, right? If you work hard and long hours, by yourself and all that, you can have a house like me and a car like me and some money in the savings account like me. So if that was all that I was here to do, right? Then that was a great model, and that was a great model as backup plan for me. Great model as a backup plan, because I was more like you ask a kid, what do you want to be? And it was like a rock star, an astronaut, or, it was something that was huge and grandiose. And what happens when kids say that, right? Means everything to who they'll be. So I want to be a rock star. Oh, the odds of that happening, you better could win the lottery. That's not support, right? Oh, you want to be a rock star? What do you want to play? Oh, you want to play guitar? Cool, let's get you a guitar. Do you want to learn to play yourself or do you want lessons? Like, let the kid choose lessons instead of force lessons, right? I'll do it myself. Oh wow, this is hard and I suck. Yeah, can I have lessons? Sure, right? It's a whole different thing than you will take lessons. You're gonna apply yourself. If I get you this guitar, you're gonna play. Two completely different energies. Um, so so yeah, same thing. Then I got into working jobs and and I did notice like I got into like my when I was young growing up, my mom had us selling swap meets and flea markets. She was just selling stuff, so I got to know a lot about kind of antiques, what things are worth, and ultimately sales. Right, so it was a sales job with a whole lot of labor, putting stuff out and putting it back, and packing it, all of that. Not that much money, so not a great lesson in how to make money, but a great teacher on how to sell. So I knew I could always be a sales guy, and then but I always had this dream that I was going to be doing big deals, like either the movie business, something. So it would be something to do with sales, but it would be relationships, right? It would be schmoozing to to get the money to do projects. So ultimately, I ended up film as one of my dreams. But meanwhile, then I learned how to bartend, right? And so bartending, a lot of labor, a lot of standing on your feet, working for nothing but the money. Until I noticed that I was coaching people because I was, letting them tell me about their day, and then instead of just saying, yeah, okay, and putting a drink, I'd be like, ooh, would you like some feedback? Then I'd give them feedback, and sometimes they were like, okay, bartender. But then sometimes, if it was like a relationship thing, sometimes they tried what I told them. Sometimes they had success and came back and thanked me. Um, and I got to do storytelling, which definitely applies to what I do now. Hence, right now, what I'm doing right now. So a lot came from doing the job that I didn't like, right? Because what I didn't like was the labor and having to work for the money and not feeling like I was receiving the value that I was giving to others. There was an unfair value exchange. And I think that's what pissed me off more than the actual job, which was connecting with people and being in customer service and selling things that I'm really good at. Right? So for me, it was like, okay, did that for so many years. And then it was like, now how do I apply all that I learned doing that and being miserable to doing the things that I love and doing the same exact things, but being my own boss, getting to tell stories on stage or, you know, making films or just applying all of the things that I learned from those mentors to then do something that I love instead. Because for me, it's whew, like there's a song, a couple sentences in the songs I wrote called "Happiness Doesn't Come in a Jar," and it's like you should play guitar. It'll take you pretty far. You should learn to write a book or learn to cook. Then you could write that book. It's just like if you find a job doing something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's something that one of my mentors told me. And I just thought even further, like not a job, but if I had a business, made myself a business doing something that I love, then I would never work a day in my life because it would be fun. what if I could do something I loved, get paid for it? Wow. So that's changing the energy of money because, again, until we get to the part where everybody's just taking care of each other and doing sacred economy, right? Sacred economics. Till
Yes.
we get to that point, if we still are using this paper, at least I could do something that I love, right?
Hmm.
In exchange for that. And then the next level is, can I see my nu- can I see my value enough to ask someone else for the value that I see that I'm worth?
Hmm.
And that's a whole other piece that many people that we know and love um, struggle with, right? Helping people, healing people, doing great work with people, and afraid to ask them for money, and especially what they're worth. Uh, that's a whole nother workshop, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's part of the really insidious programming of this reality.
Yeah,
Like, well, minimum wage is I don't know what minimum wage is these days, but
not
when
enough.
I was growing up, it was a few dollars an hour or whatever, and it's like, so you work 40 hours a week and you make $250, like whatever it was, or you brought
Yeah,
a paycheck of less than couple $100, or like whatever it was, and I was like,
right.
there is like this doesn't make any sense. Or,
No,
why are people in some of the third world kind like third world countries like they live in a completely other planet, but like they make $1 a day or something, it's like how
yeah,
do you do that? And then you have the elite who really do virtually, like, what do they actually do? And they make the billions and billions and billions of dollars are coming in because they're just siphoning it off the top of everybody else's stuff. I'm like, wait a second, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So, and it was really, you mentioned the sacred economy, learning about gifting circles and changing the energy of money,
yeah,
turning it into a gift.
yeah,
That was what really, really changed my money story big time.
yeah,
And this is how I run my business now, I run my own gifting economy, because I look at what I offer as, I mean, this is my soul's gift. This is what I'm here to give to the collective. And then when people want to work with me, that's the gift that they're giving to themselves. When I work with another coach, like, I don't care about giving them the money. It's like I want the gift of what they have to share. So I want to give myself the gift of working with this person, being in their presence, and absorbing the knowledge that they're sharing. So the money that I put out is, I feel like it's a gift I'm giving to them, but it's a gift that I'm giving to myself. So I run my business like a gifting economy, because everything is a gift. And when we change the language around money, it's huge, because the language around money in the general society, yeah, it's all about paying and owing and debt and collecting, and all of the charging, and it's like credit and debit and debt. It's like, wow.
yeah. I
But
know.
when we change it to gifting, this is a gift. When I put gas in my car, like, this is a gift I'm giving to myself so that I can drive around and go places and be mobile, you know, paying my electric bill. Like, it's a gift that I'm giving myself so that I have lights and can be online. I don't look at it as paying things anymore. I look at things in terms of gifting to myself or others. And it really has done a world of difference as in the way I think about money. And it has made money so much simpler.
I love it. The only time I think about the price of gas is when I'm traveling across the country in the RV,
Oh,
and even then it's only to keep myself entertained, right? So I'm just like one of the things to keep my mind going is like, oh, ooh, what's the price there? Looking at the exits, seeing like, are they going up? Is it going down? Where's the oh, that one's really good. Oh, it's time to fill up. Let me do that. Because the truth is, like one time years ago when we first started driving the RV, I was like, let's say I have a 60-gallon tank. Let's say there's 5 cents, right? 5 cents of a difference. That's what, $3, right? So it's like, am I going to drive all over the world trying to save $3? It's like, it just doesn't add up. Literally, it just doesn't add up. So, so, I'm not stressing over it. I just do it as something that's fun. But when I'm driving in my car or whatever, if I need gas, I pull into a station. I'm not like looking at the price trying to see where I can shave 3 cents off of a 10-gallon tank. I mean, it's like 30 cents. Oh my God. If I feel like that's a lot of money, then I'm not going to have any. That's
hmm
for sure. I'm always like, oh, if I need more, I'll get more. And that's just always how I've been. And when it's like, it's amazing. And she could say, okay, time to get more. And then I'll just get more. That's the way my brain has always worked. It's energy, and I put focus over here, and it wasn't on that for a little while. And so if that starts to get low, and she says, "Hey, time to get more," then I just put my focus over here for a little while and get some clients, and then okay, everything fine, cool. I'm gonna go over here with the music and do all the things I love to do, right? And not be focused on that. Uh, but then when it came uh, the to our book business, right? There was a point um, when they shut the world down and told everybody you can't go to work and there is no money, and so we're gonna, you know, have you wait for this check or whatever, and everybody was just like, nobody could go to work, and all that stuff was happening. Um, then I got to sit down and go within and say, so how am I feeling about what am I doing? What's next? And and I just came to the realization that I was like, wow, being a publisher, working with people on books is like not fun anymore.
mm
And I'm not enjoying it anymore. And wow, so is it time to get out of business or is it what? So I kind of shared that with Mara and she was like, oh my God, I've been feeling the same way. And so we looked within and we were like, why is that? We realized that there was a pattern of we were attracting people who either they were not an energetic match to what we do, which is books that make a difference. So people that weren't making a difference, didn't have a book about that, were coming to us. So I was referring them to someone else. Or they, when I told them how much it would be for our service, they were saying, oh my God, that much? Oh, wow, acting like that was a lot of money. And trust me, you go out and compare our prices to other people, we're priced lower than than a lot of people. And they were thinking like it was so much money, and then they weren't able to pay us, and they didn't see the value like of what we do, obviously, or they wouldn't think that was a lot of money. So once we got into that, like those realizations, it's like, so it's not the business of books that we're tired of. It's just that we stopped focusing on the type of client that we would love to work with.
mm
We took our focus off of that, and so we were attracting just anybody now instead of the people that we love to work with. And so I did created an affirmation about our business and said it 100 times a day for 33 days to reprogram my subconscious mind to put into action because the
mm.
laws of the universe say okay to whatever you say, and if you say it 100 times a day, you're putting something into action. And so I came up with I am now attracting only people who are an energetic match. They see our value and they can easily afford to pay us. Set it 100 times a day for 33 days. And so that completely shifted everything. And then that's what started happening again. So we're talking about changing the energy of money. It was changing the energy of money because it was changing the energy of the people that we were attracting, right?
Mhm.
And they were seeing the value that we provide. And then people literally started saying, "Oh, is that it? Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm getting all of that for that? Oh, yeah, send me the link." And it was like night and day different uh, by making that one change.
Right? Everything is energy. When we change the energy of something, the thing changes. Like, that's universal law. It's how it works. I love it.
Yeah.
And this is also about healing. We're really here to heal this planet. We're here to heal ourselves and our relationship to this planet so that we can live in heaven on earth. And it's all about changing the energy. The predominant energy is consume or be consumed. It is a consumerist society, and that is all about the money too. That's how the whole economy is driven. To be a consumer, but our energy is also being consumed at the
Right.
same time.
Yeah.
And in order to change all of that, we have to be able to change our energy. We have to be able to change the way we look at things so the things that we look at can change. And it's really all about how we feel. That energy isn't something that we see, it's something that we feel. And when we change the somatic response of our body and we start feeling differently about things, we change that energy, then the thing can change. But unless we change the energy of it, it's never going to change because those patterns are really set deep.
Yeah. 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 And we talked on our last episode about how the quality of the questions that we ask dictate the quality of our lives. It really does. And so the question, what if everybody freely gave each other they needed, there would be no need for money anymore at all. I'm hungry. Can you feed me? Of course. Yes. Come here. Eat. Manja. You know, it's like I need a roof over my head. Cool. What what talents do you have? What gifts do you have? Oh, I'm a really great gardener. I love to fix houses, right? Oh, I used to fix houses from the ground, ground up. Oh, cool. Well, come over here. I sure could use some help with my garden or need to refurbish my house.
Mhm.
Cool. Like, I mean, I I remember when there was like a big they were selling a recession on the news. I'll just be honest. They were selling a recession. They just make that up. It's like the price of gasoline. It's all made up. It's a story. So they're selling a recession and people were getting laid off left and right in big corporations and jobs. And I remember Mara and I thinking, what if okay, if supposedly there's not enough money to pay all those people because they're not selling enough to pay all the people, right? What if all those people who got laid off just went to work anyway? Like, how long would it take for that business to recover if they still had all hands on deck, but were putting less out? They put more into creation, whatever they needed to build that infrastructure. What if everybody just went to work anyway, right? And how would that change the energy of that corporation energetically? If people are like, I'm coming to work because I'm coming to work, right? Because I support this. I want this. I don't want to see it go down. You know, just get rid of me on your way down. That's just like leaving a sinking ship while it's down. What if everybody just went anyway? That kind of, whoo, that just fired off a whole bunch of other questions. It just set off a whole shift of like, whoa, wait, a whole bunch of questions. So when we talk about sacred economics, like and gifting economy, what if everybody freely gave each other what they needed? What if we took turns? What if we had a group of 20 people, 15 people? We had a group of 15 people, and and we found out like an amount that each of the 15 people, if we had that amount, be able to get something really substantial that we had not been able to get that would make a difference right now in our lives, right? Fixing the house, new car because the other one was on its last leg or whatever. And what if we took turns giving one person of the 15 enough to get that thing, right? And we had all settled on an amount that would work because we're still in the money system, right? And we freely gave to each other weekly or monthly or whatever you agreed on. Everybody gave to the next person, and everybody then those 15 people in 15 weeks, if that's what you're doing, or 30 if it's 32 weeks, uh, every one of those people would have something like major life changing thing because people freely gave each other what they needed. That's just one example, and one that we see all the time because we are part of a gifting economy that does that in a beautiful way that also happens to be like the most profound workshop that you'll ever do in your life, and 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 it works, and it just works. So it's like so we're proving that at least that piece, right? And then it's so how do we continue to expand that beautiful work that we do and get it out in a way that it's like we can share it with everyone and that they get it, right? And so that's where I think about movies, right? The movies that I make, right? That would be a great subject for for another film to be able to get it out there to the masses, and because everyone's gonna think, "Whoa, I never really thought about that," you know. And with the powers that let it play in the theater, and for how long? if
Right.
everybody if everybody knew, would I get shut down? Who knows? Probably if I didn't put any energy toward that, probably not. Because there are a lot of things, predictive programming type of in movies, a lot of things that are true that they just kind of play off as fantasy fiction, right? So much, so much. You see any of those government movies, and man, they're telling the truth in so many ways, but making it look like it's just fiction, not fact, right? So yeah, I love this subject because it's like literally everything's energy. So is money, and so how? What my question is, how do I change my energy so that I can attract more, not for the sake of having more, but for the more good that I can do and people that I can help. So that's when you were talking about, billionaires. What do they really do? Like I know one, John DeMartini, who does a lot, who travels almost every day of the year, speaking, teaching at events, and teaching people to change their thinking about money, right? And so he became a billionaire doing that very thing uh, to serve more people, to help more people. Bob Proctor wasn't a billionaire; he was a millionaire. But every penny that he made, other than his home and feeding his family and normal things that anybody who does the amount of work that he did would deserve. Uh, Anything over that went back into the business, not buying properties, not stocks, not, didn't do any of that, right? Straight back into the companies. He passed that for generations to come, even if they never made another penny, that his work would be able to continue and his mentors would be able to continue. So I don't have anything against anybody having money as long as we're still doing that. But for me, when you're doing good with it, right? It's not these billionaires that are spraying poisons all over our food and like potentially purposely taking us out with the poisons in the food, in the air, in the everywhere. Poison, poison, poison everywhere you go. The water, God, city water, like it's just goes on and on and on. So those billionaires totally get what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I don't want to just throw out the word billionaire and have people think that we have a judgment just because of the money. It's what they're creating. Yeah, what they're creating with that money. There's some pretty nefarious things going on out there. Uh, they're making a heck of a lot of money. So where's that going?
Exactly. Yeah.
But
So
even they get that money's just energy,
mhm, yeah.
right? And they're not using it to create heaven on earth, right? Like we are. So if we could get more people healers, more people coaches, more people authors, more people speakers, right? To get it as strongly as those people get it, do good with it,
Mhm.
right? Like it's if you believe in Bible or any of that, it's like it's God's great gift to give you the kingdom. I mean, any of the masters that teach spiritually, the, the ones that I relate to, say no, abundance is absolutely available to you, and it's not. There's nothing wrong with that. Having money to do good with it, help somebody with it, um, do good with it. As long as we're in that system, then I believe when you have that good intention, actually back it up with good things, but then realize that you have value, that you have worth. Whatever you ask for will come to you, right? Then then it does. Right? And I remember Joe Vitale told me when he was asking me how much I was charging for coaching, he was like, "Oh my God!" It's like, "How do you live on that?" What? He's like, did you know the more that you charge, the more people will see your value, the more they'll think you're worth. They'll go, "Dang, if he charges that much, he must be good at what he does." And then he was like, "Do you find that the amount that you're asking right now, do you find that like people are not keeping their commitments to you? They're not doing what they say they'll do. And at the end of every call, it's like by next week you'll do this. And then they come with excuses and they haven't done it. And I was like, yeah. It's like if you charge them $500 an hour and then you tell them to do something, they're gonna do it. It's like because they don't want to pay you and not get results, right? So they'll be like, first of all, he must know what he's talking about. He makes that kind of money, um, and then they'll do what you say you'll do. If you change the word coach to mentor, that was another tip he gave me. Change the word coach to mentor because people will lie to a coach all day, but a mentor already knows what you need to do. You ask him, what do I do? He tells you, she tells you, and you do it. It gets a whole different energy. It's like, whoa! So learned a lot from Joe Vitale. And at that point, he had he didn't couldn't really work with anybody anymore. He just didn't have enough time because he did The Secret and the whole world wanted him. And so he said he just kept jacking up the price of his coaching, and no matter what price he put, people still said okay and we're paying it. And it's like, oh, I'm running out of time. And he's like, what time do I have left that I could even give people? He said, oh well, when I land at an airport and I go from the airport to the hotel, I have that time available. So he started saying, 25 grand, you can pick my brain from the airport to the hotel. And people paid it still.
Wow.
So he was like, so I'm just telling you, Keith, right? I know my value. I know what my time is worth. And even if I blow it completely out of proportion because I don't even want the client, they'll still pay it because of the credibility they got doing the film and stuff. Right? Talk about changing the energy of money.
Wow.
Wild.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's really it's such a huge lesson. We kind of tend to villainize money because it has been used for such nefarious purposes for so long, and but when we get right down to it, it really does help us to see our own value, or
Yeah.
where we are we valuing ourselves, or are we willing to set a price? Are we willing to see our own value, or are we just kind of going for lowest common denominator just to get some money? You know, it's a powerful lesson, this whole money thing. And the more we use it for our own good and to help others at the same time, then the more we, the humanity on this planet who wants to see heaven on earth,
Right.
we can take the power of money and use it for ourselves. We can turn it all around, and we have that ability. By working together, we can all do that. It's just going to take some shifting of our consciousness so that we can start to see what's actually possible when we use it to help each other.
Yes. And we have this lifetime, right? We have whatever time we're here. And each one of those minutes is precious. And we have so many. So what's it worth for us to be willing to give that up? Meaning time that I'm not in nature, time absolutely doing something that I love and adore. Right? If
Hmm.
I'm not doing that, then I'm giving that time to someone else. And who's that worth? Certainly not a minimum wage, which is really not, it's not the minimum of the amount that you're worth, right? It's a minimum wage because it's the minimum that you could even barely even think of surviving on. I think that's another like word implant, right? So if you're working for minimum wage, it's the minimum that we are going to give you so that you're always struggling.
Right? A minimizing wage.
Yeah, minimizing wage. And it's gotten to where two people working three jobs at minimum wage is just barely enough to make it. It's certainly not one. So
Yeah,
it's declined. it's
exactly.
it's declined
We're not
in
we're
value.
we're not on this planet to work, to work hard. It's not supposed to be like that.
Right.
The original divine design is that we are part of this gigantic ecosystem that is the earth. And we are, when everything works together, everything thrives. We see this template in nature. When we go out into nature, we can see everything thriving where humanity hasn't killed it all. When it's left to its own devices, all the plants, all the animals, they all thrive together. It's only the humans that, throw the monkey wrench in the in the works. But if we actually start living in harmony with nature, and we will also thrive. And you don't see any of the animals working for a living. They're all just living. We're here to live, not to work.
Yeah. Ah, I love this.
Right? So, how can we start to change that energy around money? How can we start to look at things differently? How can we start to live on this planet rather than work on this planet? And that's not to say that sometimes, like, going out and clearing brush, gardening, like they're work, they're hard work, but they're
Yeah.
also fun. They're also profitable. It's not that we're working for a wage, is that we're making the place more beautiful. We're planting our food. We're doing things. It's not that, we're sitting around being waited on this planet, but it is that we're not supposed to be here. It's not supposed to be a struggle. It's not the divine design. It's not, it's how it's been created to be, but it's not the divine design. And when we start to live in harmony with the divine design, life is a gift. It's a beautiful, beautiful gift. This entire planet is a beautiful, beautiful gift. When we start to see things as the gift that they are, and we start to appreciate the gifts that are ours to give, when we start to appreciate ourselves, when we start to appreciate the beauty all around us, life becomes a gift. And we
Yes.
can easily receive everything we need.
Amen. And so it is. I feel complete. I feel complete.
Yeah. So we invite you to change the way you look at money. Play with it a little bit. Play with the idea of a gift, of giving yourself a gift instead of paying for things. Start to notice the things that you're paying for as gifts that you're giving to yourself. If you go to the grocery store, instead of paying for groceries, give yourself the gift of food. Instead of paying for gas, give yourself the gift of gas, a full tank of gas to go wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
Start noticing. And when you receive money, notice it as a gift and say thank you. Recognize your worth.
Yeah. Give
Notice
yourself
your
the
value and your
give.
gift.
If you have your own business, give yourself the gift of a raise, right? And even if it's a little bit, right? Stretch into getting to the where you really are receiving the value. But a little stretch at a time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What is your true value? What are you giving? What what is that value? What is the value of your life? You can't really put a price tag on it, but
Right.
look around and just notice. When we start to notice our own value, we start to value our own gifts, and we start to value this beautiful planet, we start to change everything. We're here to create heaven on earth. We are these grand angels in human form. Unfurl our wings. Let's start flying. Let's start giving ourselves the gift of thriving on this planet together.
Yes. Let's do it. Let's go. I'm in. I'm in.
Me too. All right. We hope we can count on you too to be in with us.
Yes. Yes. Thank you all for joining us. And we'll see you on the next Conversations in Consciousness. And until then,
Create for yourselves a great day. Give yourself the gift of whatever it is you wish to receive.
Yes.
Because you can.
Mhm.
Bye for now. Thanks for listening to this episode of Connecting You to You Radio. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Are you ready to discover more about how simple healing your body can actually be when you do it from the higher wisdom of your soul? To learn more about what I do and how you can work with me, visit connectingyoutoyou.com and get on my mailing list to be the first to know about my latest offerings. If you'd like to interact with me on Facebook, please join my group, Soul Sourced Healing. Check the show notes below for these links and more. I hope to see you again next time on Connecting You to You Radio.